Hello, and I'm going to be doing my story for July 2013. This is part 2. So these are my dreams. The conversation. I was at a house. My sister-in-law was around. I was cleaning my niece's room, organizing stuff. I told someone about the stolen blessing, then paused and finished it. So I was at my ex sister-in-law's house in the dream, and I don't know why I was help cleaning my niece's room for. Um, this is in 2013, so there was something about a blessing being stolen, and then the blessing paused and then finished it. White walls. I was going to take an Amtrak and Greyhound back. I was calling on the phone and someone's place. I went to where the computers were and it was white. There were only two computers. I was like, "Oh, that's where they are." Um so I guess there was an apartment available. I don't know why I would go take an Amtrak there and a Greyhound back. I would assume that I would just, stay there. But anyway, um, so I went to where the computers were. They probably were in the community or whatever, and where I was living. The change. I had a dream about the kids. I used to babysit for when I was a teenager. The girl once told me that I was her best friend. Then I was at this house, and this couple, the guy gave me a coin and a membership card to go and get a video game for his child, girl. For some reason, I got the card wet. I didn't even know where this place was at. I think someone told me. Then she gave me, besides the coin, more change. Okay, so the change. So this was true. I did used to babysit the kids on the same, just right down in this. There was like townhouses, and so they were kind of on the same, just right down, one on the corner, and we were on the corner, so they were just down there. And so I used to babysit them, and the a teenager did tell me one time that I was her best friend. Um, I don't know. I think I must have been like 13 or 14 at the time, and I would babysit. I don't know, maybe once or twice a week. Um, so I don't know why this guy gave me some coins, some change, and a membership card to get a video game. So I don't really play video games, so I don't know what game it was. And I don't know how I could get the card wet, but you never know. Um, the situation. This woman went to the ATM. She got a money order for $125. There was this place, and this black guy was in a situation. He said, "You know the situation. I asked him to remove his fishing pole from my room because of the fishing hooks." The woman asked him if she should see the landlord. "Do you want me to tell him to get a hold of you?" So I'm not for sure what the money order was about, for $125. And it says it was a situation. So I had another dream in which there was a guy, and I think this is the same guy. He's an African American man, and he used to be work at one of the rentals residencies that I lived. I think this is the same guy because it was a dream in which there was these fishing poles, and he was in a boat, and he kept on having a really long uh, fishing line and going like this and this and this, and so I was sitting, he was sitting like this, and he didn't know I was behind him, and they were really long, like, but he didn't like, like fishing for information. That's what I got out of it. But so this is the same guide. It's about fishing poles or whatever. Um, I wanted him to remove the fishing poles because of the fishing hooks. Yeah. Um, and something about you want me to ask the landlord or tell him something, the male landlord, to get a hold of me. The cornfield. There was a woman who was in a cornfield that night. She came out of the field and was pretending she was strong. Then a woman that she knew, well, she came up to her and said she worked there. One woman said something about a year because of the sexual abuse. It was going to take a year, something about, was going to test a woman to see if it worked out. Okay, so I really haven't had that many dreams about cornfields. Of course, I think of Children of the Corn, but so this kind of somewhat came true. Yeah, because I remember that I came out of a cornfield. I don't know why it was a cornfield, but this part came true in which I went up to a woman, and this is like for like a place that I lived. And they were going to give me, I think, a lease for a year because of the sexual abuse and try it out to see how it would work. So, I never mentioned about the sexual abuse, but I remember, kind of going up to somebody, and it was kind of a similar situation. Dropped off. This is July 25th, 2013. You don't have shit on me. I was at a house. Some guy brought in some dogs. There was some lady who had to stir something. One lady did something else. The energy of the house was good. I woke up early and I was going to walk somewhere, small town. Some woman was going to drop me off in town. I remember thinking about Florida. I mentioned the bacteria infection in my stomach. Okay, so I've had a couple of dreams of being dropped off. But I remember specifically in this dream saying to somebody, you don't have shit on me. So what happened was somebody dropped me off at a house, and it was a small town. I'm living in a small town now, but it was a different town. It was like in the Midwest. And I don't mind living in a small town as long as I have transportation. But anyway, so whatever this house I was saying, I don't know if it was a couple or what, but it was a guy and he brought in some dogs. So what happened is one lady stirred something and another lady did something else. So it was somewhat like a setup. So I'm not for sure if the information that they had on me was correct. But they shouldn't be ganging up on somebody who's disabled like that, which I am. And so anyway, so this house had good energy. So and then I do remember waking up early and like going for a walk. And then I remember thinking about Florida, and something about, I mentioned the bacteria infection in my stomach. So I've never had a bacteria. Well, actually, I do right now. It's not really, it's H. pylori, or it's Plori, but I don't know if that's considered a bacteria infection in my stomach. But anyway, I don't know what that was about. At the time in 2013, I never had an infection in my stomach. Purple hair. Okay, July 26th. There was a mom and daughter who both dyed their hair. I think it was purple or blue. The mom had wavy hair and the daughter on one side was shorter, blonde, and then purple. They were sitting on a seat in the back of a bus. I told the young girl that they were just jealous. Then there was a group of students who were all getting on some truck, like thing, or people, guys. There was a girl who had all her stuff. She went through the place. The guy didn't want to wait. She had some bags. She didn't even have her ticket. She would pay when she got to the bus terminal. Sued. Okay, so in this dream, the mother and daughter, the mom is supporting the daughter. So they both had either purple or blue hair. And I think that the mom had wavy hair, but and the daughter, I think one side of her hair was shorter. It was blonde and then purple. But so anyway, the mom had some kind of purple or blue in her hair, and I just kind of I mean, I for like a year I was like bleaching my hair and trying all these different colors for manic panic. And I mean, I'm older in age, but see, I had like really long hair for like 10 years, and so I would never dye it. And so I kind of got that out of my system, and now I'm going with my normal hair color right here. But anyway, so they were sitting. I just remember that they were sitting on the back of a bus, and I was on the bus, and I remember that. So I told the girl that they're just jealous. They're jealous of her, and because whatever, for whatever reason, they were just jealous of her. And so whatever, so there was a guy, and it was a guy on a truck, and there was like a group of students who were going to go and do something. And so I had all my stuff, and I went through the place real quick, and the guy didn't want to wait. And so whenever I had my bags or whatever, I said I didn't even have my ticket, my bus ticket or whatever ticket. And I said I could just pay one at the bus terminal and sued. So whenever there is something that is hurried in a dream, like I'm moving fast or I have to respond fast, sometimes, because this is not the only dream that I've had of this, there's some kind of legal situation going on. And so whatever this is July 26th, and this guy didn't want to wait for whatever reason. So it was short notice, and I went through my place. And it must have been in the same state because, I mean, I just got a couple of things and I was going to go there and come back. Okay, so photos. He went to Ohio. I saw a bunch of bunk beds. This one person had a couple of matching bags. Mom's photos are in there, not in photo album. The person is going through his stuff over and over. It's a kid. Okay, so I made the mistake. I had photo album dedicated to my mom. And I was moving around a lot. This is about, I don't know, 15 years ago. And so the agreement was with my brother, my youngest brother, that he was supposed to scan and give me scan the photos and give me a copy. And he never did that. And so I didn't have any contact with him for 10 years. Not because of this, but for whatever reason. And so, I don't even think he has that photo album anymore. And it was dedicated to my mom, very rare pictures. But anyway, so this is a dream. I never know. He never brought it up again, so I don't know what he did. And he's moved around more than me, so I'm afraid that he lost those pictures. And they were, I trusted him to keep them safe. So anyway, so it looks like in this dream he was at some bunk beds, and there was a couple of matching bags or whatever, and the photo albums, they weren't in the photo album. They were just, I think they were taken out. $100. I was somewhere with a group of women. I found $100 bill on the street and picked it up and didn't tell anyone. I kept feeling in my pocket to make sure it was there. Some girl was looking for it. Then I was walking around in a large building, not a house, possibly a church or school. One woman said she had no problem putting an end to his whatever fun. Then I brought the check from my bank or to the bank. So I've had dreams in which I've seen money on the ground or the floor or whatever, and sometimes usually it's like $1. And so it's just basically, this was like $100 bill, and it's just symbolic for something being picked up. So some kind of bill or something, some kind of situation where there's a money owed, somebody picks that up. So whatever, I didn't tell anybody. So maybe somebody, there was $100 debt and somebody picked it up and didn't tell me. And so I remember shortly after this, because this is when I lived in the Pacific Northwest, in which, when I for whatever reason, I was putting like money, just like whatever, a couple dollars in my pocket. And so I remember, kind of checking my pocket to make sure I still had the money in there, because I remember doing that after this. And let's see here. And I don't remember walking around in a large building or church or whatever. Okay, the Peninsula. When I fell asleep on the 29th, I had a dream about an ocean. I was there and I kept seeing tides. I was walking and I saw tides of the water on each side. It was a peninsula. Okay, so when I lived in the Midwest, and this is like about a year ago, they did have, I was way up north, and they did have a peninsula there, but this was more like an ocean. Like, I remember there was a long time that I did want to go to Homer, Alaska, and that's like a peninsula, but this was like an ocean. Like, it was just a peninsula. On one side was the ocean, and then the other side was an ocean. I remember walking on one side of the peninsula and then walking over to the other side, and I kept seeing tides. Pictures of Jesus. I see pictures of Jesus and other knickknacks, the color blue on shelf. It's 12:08 a.m. or p.m. I think a.m. because it's dark. There are tomatoes on kitchen table. A woman says my mom would like our knickknacks. The house is kind of circular and close to a road where it can get noisy with kids cruising, and there is a lamp of Jesus hidden behind the knickknacks. So I don't know why, but I still cannot read my handwriting sometimes. I write so sloppy. When I was like a teenager, people used to tell me I had handwriting like a doctor. So, but I don't think I've met too many people who can't read their own handwriting. So, okay, so I was at this house, and it was a corner, on the corner, and a woman lived there, and she had a picture of Jesus, and she had all these little knickknacks, and not all the knickknacks, they weren't all just Jesus, they were just knickknacks. And my mom had a lot of knickknacks. She would, she liked to shop at thrift stores or whatever. She was pretty, a simple person, so she had, several knickknacks or whatever that she liked, and that had like sentimental value to her that would probably mean nothing to others. Okay, so anyway, so the knickknacks were on the shelf, and it was 12:08. It was a.m. So like whenever there's some kind of numbers, it could have been December 8th. So yeah, I don't know how I got there or why I was there, but I was there, and there was a tomato on the kitchen table. So I said my mom would like your knickknacks. And so I guess that it was kind of noisy at night, that there would be people cruising, and just teenagers cruising. It must have been kind of a smaller town, because that's kind of, when I was growing up, that's, they kind of did. If there's nothing to do, they kind of cruise, and hang out. So it says something about a lamb. Jesus is hidden behind the knickknacks. I don't remember that, but something is hidden. Difference in opinion. Okay. There was a clear skin, and then a worm started moving out of my skin. Someone said, see, my youngest brother did that, holding body close tightly. He's lying. Look at his hands. Nothing. Then there was something on the wall where there was a difference in opinion. Looks better with part of our going up or going down. Funny part. Attend when things blow over. Okay, so there was something going on. There was a difference in opinion. And so many years later, right here on my thumb, I was staying someplace temporary for like a month. And in order to get to the top bunk, I would have, grab the ladder, the wooden ladder. So for whatever reason, the way I was rubbing it, there was like, you can't see it now, but because I removed it, but there was like this black little, it almost looked like a little blood clot. I don't know what it was, but that was removed. And it wasn't a bug, and it wasn't a worm, but I mean, it was just like a small little dot. But, and it says it was moving out of skin, but it wasn't. And so I blamed it on my youngest brother, which I don't know why I would do that. Then whatever, some guy was lying about it. Maybe they thought that it was caused by maybe something unsanitary. I don't know. But I don't think that really had anything to do with it. I think it was just me grabbing the ladder to get up to the top bunk.